In this first look demo, we're going to take a look at the upcoming Windows Server 8 operating system promised by Microsoft later this year. And specifically, we're going to look at the Server Manager utility. Starting with the last version of Server, Server Manager became the one-stop shop for all aspects, really, of managing servers, adding roles and features, filtered views of event logs, and access to a variety of other tools. And we're going to see how that's been expanded upon in Windows Server 8. So let's take a look. Server Manager is one of the objects that's by default down on the Start menu, or the taskbar, excuse me, so we can click on that to load Server Manager. It's also by default on the Start page, which you get by hitting the Windows key. It'll be listed there using the Metro style interface. And we can see that the formatting behind Server Manager is changed significantly. Let's start with our first dashboard approach. We've got links to click to configure the local server, which would directly take me there. To add roles and features, which we can guess would just open up that wizard, which we will go through. Add other servers to manage. At that point, it would say, okay, well, where do you want to get those from? You can get them from Active Directory. We can search DNS. We can import exported computers. And so one of the big new advantages here is the ability to centrally control groups of servers. In fact, you can create different groups. These are my file servers, my print servers, my email servers, database servers, and the like. And so we can create names of servers or pools and then group them together for management purposes. You click on What's New. This is specifically what's new in Server Manager. Some of I just said, add remote servers or create custom groups. I get the current status of servers and roles very easily. Perform tasks on multiple servers at a time. And if we click on that, it will show me how to get at those servers and then what some of the options are. And we can also deploy roles and features remotely. By controlling a local server, of which I only have one, but if I control a remote server, I would be able to deploy roles to it. Okay, across the top, we can see we've got the kind of breadcrumb navigation. Instead of clicking here, we can use that, and as we go along, that will extend itself, and we can use that as well. We've got any notifications. If there are tasks that are running over here, then you've got a toolbar. On the Manage toolbar, we've got access to some of the initial commands that I would have. On the Tools menu, we've got access to a variety of different utilities. These are essentially all of the administrative tools from Control Panel. You can change the zoom on the view, and then you have access to help. Okay, so that's the initial dashboard approach. We can see, though, that we see roles and services. Now, if I were to select that, all it's going to do is jump down to that individual server. In this case, that is the file and storage services, okay, where it gives me the ability to create storage pools. A storage pool is a group of disk, both virtual and physical disk, that we can act on collectively. We don't have any volumes we can see and would be able to create. So go and create a new volume wizard. That's integrated right in here, of course. And if we've got space, then we would be able to go through that process. Okay. So again, that's basically just disk management. But notice we can also see shares. We can also so we can see shares and storage pools and other things that are related to that. All right, so let's go back to the local server. And we will get into the roles and services, but in a local server, this is like the old main page. Now notice every one of these things can be selected. When computer name is selected, it takes me to the system properties and I can change it. Windows Update's not configured, it will take me there. So this is still the one-stop location for you to be able to go in and make changes, and to turn on different remote administration, desktop. Notice the addition of the network adapter teaming here, and we click on that, and you have a new NIC teaming utility built into Windows. So if I have multiple interfaces, I can group them together through the the concept of teaming, which usually would use a driver on the network card and now is able to be done at the server level. We've got the events for the server, the services. Notice you've got a performance view here, best practices analyzer, and then the roles and features that are installed. Now, speaking of the roles and features, let's go take a look at the wizard for adding roles and features. We're going to see a lot of similarities between this and Server 2008. We can either do, in this case, a role-based or feature-based installation. So that's for a single server, which is what we're doing. Also a virtual machine, or we can do a remote desktop services. And this is deploying a VDI. And VDI is going to be a big deal. We see additions to that in Server 8, and that warrants some examination as well. But let's just go through the standard role-based installation. You see how we can select a server, so I can just as easily install roles on a remote server or even directly to a virtual hard disk. Okay? And then I'm presented with the page of all the potential services. And so we see kind of the same ones: Active Directory domain services, certificate, federation, remote desktop, network policy and access, Hyper-V, Windows deployment, WSUS, all of the standard ones. In fact, I don't really see any additions, although there are some additions of individual services here and there. So we'll pick something like DHCP. We'll add the required features, and notice then it looks right at the server to tell me if there are some changes, or the changes that need to be made, which in this case is I have a dynamic IP. Now I'll walk through the wizard installation. If I need to install any additional features, this was a separate wizard in Server 2008. It now can be installed as a part of this. Okay? Notice we're still using component-based installation. I won't choose that because I want to minimize what I'm installing here. Still using component-based installation, where it will automatically add the things that are needed. And we do see some new things here. Okay? BitLocker network unlock allows me to automatically unlock network or BitLocker protected drives on domain joined computers, so that's very beneficial. Data center bridging, that's kind of linking data centers together. That's a new enhancement. Enhanced storage, which are essentially, these are specific types of devices that I have a greater level of control over. We're looking, the biometric framework is there. The PowerShell web access, which is you can have a server that's functioning as a web gateway and provides essentially terminal access to PowerShell. So you got a variety of additional things that are there. The Windows standards-based storage management. So there are a lot of additions which can warrant their own demo, really. And then here we've got, this is the summary of what's going to be installed, and we go ahead and start that install. Whatever required components were needed, those would have automatically been chosen, and it will go through the installation. Now we can expect that once that install is finished, we would come back here to the dashboard, and when I have the local, we would come back here to the dashboard. If I only have one server, then it will locate that server right here, or that role, I should say, will automatically be there. Okay, now we've got a notification, and so the notification is kind of showing me the progress that's going on in the background. I can go and see the task details. It'll open it up and show me the exact details. Okay. So now we've got another notification. Notice the centralization of these notifications. I've got some post-deployment configuration that's required. So I click complete. It allows me to commit the changes, okay, and it tells me the post-install steps that are going to be there, and then the DHCP immediately shows up. Now when I select on DHCP manageability, I'm getting a detailed view of all the servers. Of course, I can go to DHCP, and then we'll see this server here, and we can right-click and choose DHCP Manager. And then we open up the ever familiar tool where we would have to go in and actually add scopes and things to configure that. Okay, so it's just showing me all the servers there and would let me remotely manage. You've got some additions here, the ability to restart the server or open up a Windows PowerShell connection to that server. Again, that's PowerShell 2.0. Going in and configuring network adapter teaming or starting performance counters specific for that server. You know, you've got a few things there. Okay? If you want to clear out these notifications, just hold over the X and remove that task, and that will get rid of it. All right, so Server Manager remains really the central location, the one-stop shop to perform administration on Windows Server 8 as it was with its predecessor. And we see some differences here and there, some consolidated views and some new capabilities of dealing with multiple servers. Now that completes this first look at Server Manager in the Windows Server 8 operating system.
Thank you for viewing our short demo video. For more information on K-Alliance's e-learning videos, please visit us at www.kalliance.com or call us at our U.S. toll-free number 1-800-330-9111.